we are beginning the process. When I was younger, there were these certain types of pies that were at my great-grandma's house, which I never saw anywhere else. They were called Belgian pies. Belgian pies are different from ordinary pies. They are eaten with your fingers and usually served with beer, which is the part of tradition we will not be participating in. So today I am here to show you how to make the famous apple Belgian pie. Okay, so the first step is to use an apple core to get the peeling off and take the core out. So okay, now the next step is to cut the apple into pieces. So this is what it should look like after you have your apples cut and cored, and then you're going to preheat the oven to 350 and put the apples in there. Put the apples in there until they are cooked down. Okay, so the next step while the apples are cooking, you want to make the crust. So you're going to add 3 tablespoons of water, 3/4 tablespoon of sugar, and some yeast.
1 ounce.
And 1 ounce of yeast. And then you're going to mix it. Okay, so this is what it should look like after you mix it. And you're going to take wax paper and cover it. And then cover it with a terry cloth and let it stand until the yeast starts working. So now you're going to take 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream and put it into a saucepan and heat it on medium heat until a skin forms on top. Alright, so the next step in the crust, you're going to add 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons of sugar,
210.
a pinch of salt, and 1/3 of a cup of room temperature butter. And then you are going to mix it with a mixer. So next you're going to add your heavy cream to the batter, that's what called the batter. And then you just mix it. Okay, so now you want to add the yeast to this and then enough. And now you mix this, whatever you call it, dough. Okay, so after you added the yeast, you're gonna start with 2.5 cups of flour and add a little at a time while it's mixing. And then just keep adding. So then just keep adding. Okay, so now this is what it should look like. So you're going to put it in a bowl because it's going to grow 2 times its size, or rise 2 times its size. And so then you cover it and make sure it's not by any windows or anything. Yeah. Okay, so after the apples are done, you're gonna put them in a pan. Okay, so next you're gonna add 1/8 of a cup of tapioca and a cup of sugar to this. And then mix it. So now we're gonna start the cheese topping that goes on top of the pie. You're gonna take 12 ounces of dry curd and put it on cheesecloth so then you can get all the liquid out of it. So then you're gonna wrap it up like so, and then squeeze it down so all the liquid comes out. If there is any. Alright, so next you're gonna take 24 ounces of cottage cheese and your 12 ounces of the dry curd and alternate it into the mixer. Then just keep alternating till it's done. To the batter, or to the cheese topping. Okay, so then you're going to add 3 egg yolks. You don't want the egg whites, so. Okay, so now you're going to take terry cloths and wax paper and put them down so then the crust doesn't get soggy. Okay, so now you're going to take some lard and wipe it on a piece of wax paper and then wipe it on the pans to grease the pans. And we're using aluminum pans. You can hear the dough rising. Okay, so now you're going to take your dough that has risen already, and you're going to make it into the size of a fist and put it on to some wax paper and let it double in size of that before you put it into the pans. Alright, so after you let the dough rise, after you put it into the 5, or how many you're making, you're going to put it into the pan and push it down to form the crust. Make sure you get all the way to the edges. Now you're going to take your cheese topping and just put it like in the middle around. then spread it around. So then it looks like that. Oh, okay, so after you put all the pie filling and the cheese on top, you're going to put them in the oven after you preheat it at 350 on the bottom, or the second one up from the bottom, for 6 minutes, and then switch it to the top rack for 5 minutes. Okay, so now the pies are completely done, so you could take it out. And then so this is the final product, a pie you don't have to use a fork, plate, or a knife, or you have to use a knife, or a spoon for.